Welcome to the Kindergarten Toolbox Podcast. I'm your host, Amy Murray, here to help you simplify kindergarten with tools and strategies that actually work with real live 5 and 6-year-olds. Let's dive into your shortcut to calmer days and more confident writers. Does it ever feel like your classroom has one volume and it is insanely loud? Like no matter how many times you say quiet, the noise level resets itself back to chaos like 10 seconds later? You're not imagining it. Kindergartners love to talk. They talk when they're excited. They talk when they're bored. They talk even though they just told you something 10 seconds ago and you're in the middle of a story. And it feels like the chatter never stops. You're definitely not alone. This is a problem across the board these days. So today I want to walk you through how to get your class quiet without raising your voice and without feeling like you're nagging at them all day long. The first strategy to try is using visuals. Visuals are such a powerful tool in the kindergarten and early elementary classroom. Every classroom should have them for all the things. Visuals truly can level the playing field for all of your learners, but it also is a really powerful way to reinforce your expectations. In this case, your expectations for noise level, probably at the carpet or during whole group, but also when they're in centers or wherever they are in your classroom. Having a voice level poster that shows them what different voice levels are and shows them what your expectation is for that time period can go a long way rather than you just constantly telling them to stop talking or to be quiet. So we used a voice level chart that had 0 to 4 on it, 0 being silent, 1 being a whisper, 2 being partner talk, 3 is regular talking, and 4 would be shouting or yelling, which really we didn't ever use in school unless there was an emergency. And I could do a whole nother podcast episode just about using voice level systems. But the point here is that you teach these expectations, you practice them, you have mini lessons about them so they understand what the expectation is so that when you get up to the carpet, you can reinforce your expectations with. These are the ways we may sit at the carpet. Here are the choices. And we are at level 0. That means we're not going to talk. And that way they've got these concrete ideas of what it should look like, sound like, feel like to be paying attention at the carpet. And you're not using your voice. You can just hold up the level 0 picture of the student being silent or a quiet face, and you can eliminate adding your voice to it and silently use a picture instead. And hopefully, in most cases, kids will catch on quickly and get back to what they need to do. The key here when you're using any visuals in your classroom or any classroom management system is consistency. If you're using these visuals consistently, your students will know your expectations and it helps everyone to hold them accountable. So if you're not in the classroom, but you have your rules posted and your carpet expectations posted along with visuals, the substitute or whoever is covering for you can easily hold kids accountable to the same expectations that you would hold them accountable when you're there. Consistency really matters in helping kids to meet your expectations, especially when we're talking about noise level. Now, some of you are listening to me and saying, oh yeah, that sounds great. I'll just hold up a card and they'll magically get quiet when half the class won't stop talking. I get it. I've been there. So you want to pair these visuals and expectation settings with some rewards or incentives for the students who are being quiet, who are meeting your expectations. In my classroom, what worked best for this was using our glow notes. So at the beginning of the day, during our morning meeting, I would say, today, friends, I am looking for 2 or 3 students who are meeting this expectations. In this case, working quietly today, remembering to raise their hand, remembering to use their level 0 voice when we're in whole group. And then at the end of the day, you'll revisit those expectations and announce who got to take home a glow note for working quietly that day. Pretty soon, the other students will want to earn these glow notes too, and it becomes a snowball where they're all meeting your expectations or doing your desired behaviors in order to try to earn a glow note. It truly is amazing how powerful one little piece of paper can be. But the other thing to try is maybe a whole class incentive. we used our builder reward charts, but you can use all different things as your whole class incentive chart. And we'll do another episode all about what makes a class incentive chart effective, because they're not all created equally. But in this case, your goal or your specific behavior goal that your class would be working towards is working quietly. So you can decide if you need to give that out multiple times a day, or if you can take the whole day as a whole, and during your end of the day meeting, or, as you're packing up at the end of the day, you can chat like, hey guys, did we work quietly today? Yes, for the most part, or no, that was really a struggle today. If yes, then they earn a piece on their reward chart. And once the reward chart is filled, they get whatever your reward is. I would caution you that you need to have a specific goal, like we need 10 spots filled up, or we need 5 spots filled up on our chart, not just a random when our jar is filled kind of situation, because they need concrete things. But like I said, stay tuned. We will do a whole podcast episode on incentive charts. But the key here is that when 1 or 2 children become the model of the expected behavior and they get a reward for that behavior, the rest will follow in line. Now you're sitting there thinking, yeah, but what about Joey? He never stops talking. He's constantly blurting. This is not going to work for him. Yeah, you're all thinking that. We've all had a couple of kids who really struggle with the constant blurting and talking. And so they're probably going to need a little bit more support in this area. So how do you do that? Well, first we need to remember that quiet and working quietly is a skill and not an on-off switch. These are young kids and they're probably not made to be quiet other places until they met you. You can't have them all talking at once. So we need to teach them this skill. And if you have kids who aren't self-regulating and who are just really socially driven and can't stop talking, you're going to have to backpedal and pool some social skills groups and things like that. And I'm talking like 5 minutes a day, a quick social story about when it's time to talk. You can even print it out and send it home with them. And you can set up an individual incentive system for that student. Now, the individual system that you choose to use with your student is totally up to you. It can be as simple as a sticker chart, but I caution you, your sticker chart needs to have a very specific goal, like work quietly. And I would limit it to no more than 10 spaces when you're starting so that the student has frequent success. Because remember, the reward system or the behavior system isn't to catch the student misbehaving, it's to support them and teach them the desired behaviors. So you want to make sure that they're experiencing success often and early so that they will buy in and they'll stay quiet for you. So a sticker chart could work in this situation. I like coloring charts. That's what I call them. There may be a more technical name, but I would take your day and break it into, if you're full day kindergarten, I would break it into halves. So a morning and an afternoon, and break it down into sections of like 15 or 20 minutes. And so like morning meeting, phonics lesson, read aloud, lunch, recess, math, you get the idea. And then after each subject, they either color if they were quiet or don't color if they weren't quiet. And then at the end of your morning, you see if they earned enough of the blocks. You decide 80%, 75% of the blocks gets them their reward. And then the same thing in the afternoon. And then eventually, hopefully, you can do it just for the whole day and work your way up. But remember, the key to individual behavior chart success is that the student experiences success and earns the reward often at the beginning so that you can start to phase it out, because we're not trying to catch them being bad. We're trying to teach them our expectations. And as a little bonus tip, if your loudest time of the day is during transitions, like moving from the carpet to independent work time, then you want to try to come up with something constructive for them to do during that time so the noise level doesn't get off the charts. In my classroom, one year, no lie, we decided we were going to march back and forth and do a little chanting song. So their bodies were busy, their mouth was busy, and at least we were all singing the same thing instead of just getting louder and louder and louder to talk over each other. It sounds a little silly at first, and it is, but that helps them buy in and helps them to do it. So our chant was super, super simple, and it went like this. Are you ready? Are you ready? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Voices off and walking, hands to self, no talking. Here we go, nice and slow. What I liked most about using it to the tune of Frere Jacques is that it could go on and on until we got through our transition. We could use it when we lined up to get ready to go in the hallway. We could use it when I dismissed them from the carpet back to their table spots. We used it when they moved between centers and cleaned up. It really did make a huge difference in the noise level because they were all keeping the same level, singing the song we were all singing together. Let's recap today's episode. So if you've got a chatty class, first, make sure you have visual supports in place. Then you want to make sure you are not drawing attention to the talkers, but instead rewarding those who are meeting your quiet expectations. You'll also want to set up some individual behavior support for those kids who just aren't buying into your whole class systems. And if transitions are the problem, give a transition song or chant a try and see if that helps you get from A to B with less chaos. I can't wait to hear how this is working for you. If you are looking for a one-stop shop to find the Glow and Grow notes I talked about, the behavior incentive charts, individual behavior charts, all the tools you need to keep behavior on track this school year, you want to be sure to check out Kindergarten Management Toolbox. You can find it in the show notes. It's your one-stop shop for everything you need to keep behavior under control this year. So we are here to support you. Thanks for listening to the Kindergarten Toolbox. I'm Amy Murray, and I'm so glad you're here. Be sure to check the show notes for all the links and resources from today's episode. For even more tips, tools, and support, head to teachingexceptionalkinders.com or connect with me on Instagram at teachingexceptionalkinders. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow along and subscribe to the show and take a minute to leave a review. It helps other kindergarten teachers to find us too. Teaching kindergarten is tough, but you're not alone. Here's to calmer days and more confident writers. You've got this.